Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
Can hear you loud and clear, Coach Jay, on this interesting day.
Interesting day for sure. We got a bunch of markets making all-time highs, a bunch of markets selling off after making all-time highs as well. But we will be here to talk about all of it for sure. Welcome everyone to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, like Heather just said, hit the like button. If it's your last time here, also hit the like button. Plan on coming back, hit the like button as well. But if it's your first time here, the goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity, how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. This is our first time meeting. I'm Coach Jay, been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures trading industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some experiences, some knowledge, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Thank you for that, Coach Paul. You are all our chat, our audience. As always, we thank you for being here. Let us know how your day went. Are you up on the day? Are you down on the day? Anything that you have learned from trading today? For me, I had a pretty small day, a little frustrating day. Code is here. He could tell you about it. We were here talking trades, and it's great to have a trading buddy in your office with you, kind of talk trades. Called out some pretty good trades and did not execute them. So in my journal today, it's going to be one word. I'm going to say execute. That is the game plan for the rest of the week. Some pretty good reads, but you don't get paid unless you trade them. So that is my review for the day. But let us know how you guys did. Up, down, indifferent. Maybe you didn't trade, took a break. Let us know how it went. Heather says, I blew all my accounts last week because I thought the government shutdown would pull the market back, and it did not. Back in 5 XFAs, up 1720 over the 5 payout Friday. Nice job, Heather. Great example of what we think can happen, Coach Paul. Doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, thinking always got me into trouble. A plan keeps me on the right path. But great job, Heather. You didn't quit, and you came back. That's going to serve you well through time.
Absolutely. Coach Hoop says the yen was nuts. We will talk about that for sure. I know somebody that was in the yen trade. Somebody on the screen was. Nice trade. Nice trade over there. Let's take a look at the news. As far as planned numbers goes, we are at day 7 of the government shutdown that Heather was just talking about. So some of the planned numbers that we expect are not going to be coming out. We'll see how long this government shutdown lasts. I think hearing some of the conversation about it, it doesn't sound like it's ending anytime soon. Last time we had a government shutdown was 34 days. We'll see if this one lasts a little bit longer. Does that mean anything for us as day traders specifically? No, we talked about this. You still got to trade a setup that presents itself to you. But for any of our government employees out there, it definitely means something there. And also for the economic data, right? We look towards some of this economic data to kind of, the Fed is looking at it for decisions they have to make. The Fed has, FOMC meeting in 22 days. So if we don't get any data between now and then, what happens, right? And I think that's the more interesting thing to kind of look at here.
This government shutdown is affecting things.
It is.
I'm going out to Cleveland Monday.
Yep.
I canceled my flight.
You're gonna drive?
After hearing pilots are working together to land.
Yeah.
From different planes. I'm like, it's a 6-hour drive, and I'm going to do some risk management.
Yeah. That's a good point.
It's not even funny. It's
not.
Wow, this is irresponsible.
Yep.
On all sides. I'm not making a political statement, but this is irresponsible, and I'm not getting on a plane.
There you go. We heard earlier today the FAA was delaying flights. Air traffic control towers. Some of these people, they're government employees. They're working, not being paid, taking time off. It is making a mess And travel is a big thing. So yeah, having pilots call each other midair, like, hey, slide over to the left a little bit. I need to get through here. Is probably not what you want to be happening. So, like Coach Paul said, it is not a joke. Um, but yeah, hopefully we get to a resolution quicker than later, sooner than later. Uh, Anything else you got on the news, Coach Paul?
Um, what else? More of the same talk. Um, are we going to have a trade deal with Canada?
Yep.
Does, does it really matter at this point? I don't know. But other than that, nothing big that I saw. I mean, there's no government data coming out, so maybe that's good. So,
Could be a good thing. All right, so let's take a look at the quote board. There are 36 different markets we could trade with Topstep accounts today. To the downside, we had silver down 1.87%, micro Bitcoin down 2.79% after making an all-time high yesterday, micro Ethereum down 4.88 for our biggest percentage mover to the downside. To the upside, we had soybean oil up 1.35%, heating oil up 1.45%, and natural gas, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, at 4.44%. To talk about our big four, we have the crude oil up 0.55%, the S&P down 0.35% after making a new all-time high, gold up 0.69%, nice, after making a new all-time high as well, and the NASDAQ down 0.53%, again, after making a new all-time high. So let's take a look. Glenn says 3 XFAs, 29,000 on the first day. Glenn, congratulations. That is big. Is that Glenn? Gleben. Uh, I read that as Glenn. Either way, 29,000 on your first day. That is amazing. I'm curious what trades you took. There was a ton of opportunity out there for you to potentially do that, but nice job there. All right, let's take a look, Coach Paul, at the let's do the S&P since it crossed that 6,800 level. S&P on the daily. What are you looking at here?
um, did we had an outside day, but we didn't really have an engulfing candle.
Mhm.
Finding some balance. We're losing a little bit of momentum up here. Will you have someone there, or are we close to having a 3-bar reversal on the daily?
Dakota, are you seeing a 3-bar reversal on the daily in the S&P? And while Dakota looks that up, I see a question in the chat asking about my P&L on the day. I'm down $30 on this day. I want to know, how do you see this? Because I would have definitely gone to fix it. I see that as there is nothing to fix.
$30. That's a
$30.
scratch.
Yeah, $30. That is, that is a scratch. One of the hardest things to do. We heard MP say it. We hear traders say it all the time. It's easy to lose big. It's easy to win big. It's easy to win small. It is very hard to lose small in trading because you feel like there's always another opportunity. You didn't see how I got to this negative $28. I was down a little bit more than that. I was down about 300 on the day, and there was a trade opportunity that I saw towards the end of the day that got me to that negative $28. I wasn't trying to trade P&L. There was a trade setup that I saw, and that's where it ended up. And that's it, right? I see it as that's a small scratch, an expensive lunch maybe, and we go back, and maybe not even an expensive lunch depending on where you eat. uh, uh, but yeah, you just come back and trade it the next day. It's okay to be red because you're going to be red eventually. And yeah, that's the way I see that. But potential 3-bar reversal on the daily in the ES. Yeah,
Potential.
Dakota saying yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, I find it interesting because that's what I thought. Now tomorrow, if we have an engulfing candle, so if we have weakness again tomorrow, that's going to be pretty serious. But if is a 4-letter word, we're not there. Yeah, yeah.
Had to make sure I
Because
counted those letters.
That was a perfect entry into the half hour. We're under the 200.
Yes, we are.
So if we get some momentum to the downside, it could start a larger move down. But that's another four-letter word. But
Uh,
but the size of that and its swiftness without major news is concerning if I'm long.
yeah. Yeah, there was really nothing to kind of precede this move. It was just we made a new all-time high. There was no volume up at the highs to continue trading it. So maybe we're taking some profits. But that was a pretty significant sell-off the first 2 hours of the New York session. I marked out that 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart. Just kind of wanted to see on a smaller time frame how the market responded to it. 67.71 is that price. Overnight session, kind of a two-sided trade. There was a decent short opportunity, a decent long in the London trade that pushed us back to those all-time highs right before the New York session open. The S&Ps finally took out 6,800, 6802.75 new all-time high. But if we take a look at volume, Coach Paul, from the session, we've talked about this before. What is happening with prices trading above a major level, but volume is at this point when we made the new all-time high, VWAP, which is, we know most of the heavier volume was 17 points lower. It's kind of thin up there.
It's thin up there. Well, look at the time, and that's overnight.
Yep.
We reached the first level of resistance on my levels, where we just overnight, and it's on no volume. It needs to be tested one way or the other. And when it was tested, it was brittle. I mean, that's a double top on top of yesterday's at the same level. So it's struggling up here, and we're picking up some volume to the sell side. So momentum is definitely challenged. And boy, that 3-minute opening range trade was. I'll leave that to you because that's your trade. I should have named that the J trade.
I don't know if we can call it that if I don't take the trade, so I'm gonna start taking them. But here we are, the 3-minute opening range here in the S&P. Wasn't the most urgent trade right away, but we did, trading around that 6,800 level. Price is trying to trade higher, no volume trading higher. Then at some point, it's okay. Coach Paul uses this analogy all the time. If you're in the gym lifting a weight that you've never put up before, at some point you're gonna have to put it back down, and that's what this looked like. The S&P trying to push above a major level, 6,800. We're gonna need to convince some buyers up there to do it, and if we don't see it, and that VWAP is pretty flat, and Dakota and I are sitting here next to each other trading, and we're just saying, this is a pretty choppy market. The first half an hour, you hear Hogue say it all the time. We're opening in range and in balance, so stay patient. Look at when the moves started happening, right? After that first half an hour, we started to get a little bit more directional. So if you got chopped up in the early part of the session, uh, maybe it's because the market really wasn't going anywhere, right? And you had to give it the time to start to work. But as we get later in the session, 45 minutes in, that VWAP starts to tilt to the downside. We're seeing more sell pressure come in, and it was never really bought today at any point. Yeah, got really heavy sell side. And then Coach Paul, you said it. I look for him as well. Uh, there's a J trade that presents itself in any given market any day, right? And what that means is high volume with a reversal. We'd have to close above the high of that volume. But in this case, we didn't get one. This candle right here, which crossed over that 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart, that candle had the potential to be a reversal candle, right? That's higher volume than the open. But we say it all the time. Sometimes high volume means continuation. And in this case, we never closed above that high volume. All we did was reject at the high. This looks very similar to the open. We have a ton of volume come in, price trades above that high, volume never goes with it. And that's a decent spot to look to short. And it was, in this range, a decent spot to short against all day. These are the reads when I say I reviewed my own trades. These are the reads that I missed, right? Where coming back up to this high volume and rejecting it, those are the trades that I'd say I missed. So I just got to execute better for the rest of the week.
You know, this is a great example, the difference between continuation and exhaustion. So at that high volume area, we made new lows, and then the next bar we saw some buying, and it didn't go anywhere, and we stayed in that. Now, just it's if you're having trouble with this, just think buyers versus sellers. Break it down to the bare minimum. That's selling. So what did we talk about this before? So I sell Jay 5,000 contracts, and he turns around and he tries to sell some at a profit, and he can't. And they're offering it below where he bought it. What's Jay going to do?
Hopefully, I have a stop in somewhere, right? Because I'm holding 5,000 contracts long. But if it's not going in my favor and I'm getting towards my risk budget, I have to start getting out of that position, which means I'm selling
Yeah,
it.
you're selling it and you're hitting any bid you can because you're not. It's not working. So when we talk about volume, sometimes the best way is to just break it down as plus minus and an imbalance, because it's an imbalance that moves markets.
Yep.
I found it very interesting that we did not find a J trade. So in my mind, we're not finding reactive buyers. It's like we just said, this market got hit and didn't get up, or it got up wobbly. We'll see. Tomorrow, I think tomorrow is a really important day.
Tomorrow we shall see. S&P settling around 67, 66. We're still in the middle of this high volume range, so probably what I'm going to do, and I'll do this for the opening call tomorrow when Hogan and I already know it. This is the candle. Unless we get something overnight, this 30-minute is Hogan and I usually look at daily and then 30-minute. This 30-minute candle and the 200 moving average are going to tell the story for tomorrow's trade. That range 67.60s at the low, 67.82 at the high. This range, this white line, that 200 session moving average, we're seeing the 20 cross below the 200 for the first time in a little while, in about 2 weeks. So yeah, do we get a more extended pullback here? Would be pretty interesting. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ really quick. Similar story here in the NASDAQ, made a new all-time high, 25,275. And we saw that pullback as well. The S&P was a little weaker than the NASDAQ, spent a lot more time below that prior day low, where the NASDAQ looking a little stronger here. We took a quick look below 25,000s and did find some buyers there. But anything different you're seeing here on the NASDAQ, Coach Paul?
Oh, it's about the same. It's also going sideways, finishing under the 200. Look, I mean, it's very identical. I think it'd be interesting to see we'll look at all four of the indices, see if they had that same kind of structure. Oh, and there it is. Man, you are good.
Hold on, they're all
You're a
NASDAQ charts.
magician.
They're all NASDAQ charts right now. Let me fix.
Oh,
I'm not that good.
okay. But you'll get there.
Oh yeah, one day. All right, we got the Russell on the bottom right. We have the Dow on the bottom left. We have the S&P on the top right and the NASDAQ on the top left. Yeah, all of these markets are doing pretty much the same thing, all back under their 200 moving averages on the 30-minute. Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's well, the structure has changed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in a poker game where the lead better was raising and raising, and all says, "Yeah, I'll pass."
So what
Oh, what?
happened? You didn't like what you saw?
Well, you passed. It's got that kind of feeling. Like they're not buying the dip. The dip, according to the way I see it. And also, the shorter term moving averages are starting to go under the 200. And there was no, I mean, they were all about this. Dow was a little bit stronger than the rest, but go fish says go to.
Interesting level here, right? We got this major 25,000 level here in the NASDAQ. We held it for now, but how much can we continue to hold that level if we test it, right? We tested it on Friday, tested again today. What the NASDAQ did do was close the weekly gap. So I think all the equities did actually. We have this gap in the NASDAQ here. We got a gap in the S&P that looks like it was closed as well. Let's take a look at the Dow. No gap there. And Russell, little gap right here. So NASDAQ and the S&P looks like we just traded down into that gap. The NASDAQ held it almost perfectly and bounced off of it. Makes sense. That gap is right around 25,000s. Found some buyers there. Let's see if they continue to support these markets here. Anything else you have on the equities, Coach Paul?
No, I'm kind of tomorrow. I think there's going to be big opportunity. Um, does it recover? We shall see. But that's it. That's all I have in the equities.
Thank you for that, Coach Paul. Let's pull up a gold chart here. Gold on the daily. Shout out to Hogue. Shout out to Hogue. Hoagie Berra knocking levels out of the park. 40.15 was the weekly kickoff high in gold. 40.1460 is the new all-time high. You know, Hogue has been doing this for a long time. Levels are good.
Yeah, they are.
He missed by 4 ticks. So, maybe he's not that good either. But you're not paying attention to these top step levels. I would. But Coach Paul, what are you seeing in this gold chart?
Am I repeating myself? Copy and paste.
Yep.
That's what I have to say. Now, interesting. It was a smaller range today. But I mean, the rocket shot is still good. It has not met some short-term resistance today. I mean, actually, the range was kind of small. What was?
So I was about to say, are we getting spoiled by gold because it still was a $50 range?
Yeah,
It was
but
still a
the
50.
average range was 60. So yeah,
Right.
we are getting spoiled.
Yeah, that the daily ATR, we can see it's starting to tick up again. I see it here at 56 half. At the high of the year, it was, the most volatile of the year was at 8 in the 80s. I don't know if we're getting back up there, but that daily ATR over the past month or so is starting to creep up. It was about 46 a month ago. It's up at 56 now. And it makes sense, right? As prices continue to increase, percentages mean just a little bit more. So seeing a ton of buying continue to come into gold above 4,000s, 40.1460 new all-time high, closing the day around 4,005. Where do we stop?
Um, well, let's define the last buyer,
Yeah, we will see.
and it's not there.
I think I saw someone in chat today said that they said gold is going to 8,000s, which,
Good.
hey, it may be. It may be. Like you said though, Coach Paul, the range today in gold, it was a weird one. Where it was a pretty consolidated day, right? Around those 4,000s, which makes sense, right? We're trading above a major psych level. Everyone who's watching gold knows when we're trading at 4,000s. The first question was, hey, do we even make a new all-time high? But we didn't really see great follow-through volume to the upside, right? We kind of consolidated around here. One of the best trade locations of the day to the long side was, of course, during the London session. London makes the low, and there's your 50-point move, high to low from there. But maybe a tough trade. I know Dakota had a nice short last night. We were talking about lower 60s as a potential target here, but somewhat of a range bound day compared to what we have been seeing in gold.
Well, they said 4,000.
Yep.
I'm listening to you and Ho talk this morning. You were talking, who wants to buy at 4,000 to initiate longs?
Yeah. Not up there. Yeah. That's a tough sell to me.
They are a tough buy, even
Right.
better. But it slowed down, but it didn't turn.
Right.
And then we finished at near the highs of the day on a small range. That is not selling. It's and actually we're working on a decent J trade in the half hour. So tonight, I I'm not going to say 8,000 tomorrow, but you might see 4,050. It's going to close now that we're accepting. We spent some time there, and we didn't find somebody said, okay, this is too expensive. An entity. This is not a trend change. Actually, it's very friendly. It kind of took a rest.
Which is what you want
Like
to
when
see.
you're running a marathon, you can go get some water at the stand. You don't really stop. You just slow down, get ready to finish.
Very bullish here. Not taking out many prior day lows at all on the daily. On the 30-minute, we're above that 200 moving average, continuing to trade higher. Can't sprint a marathon, so you're going to have days like this. But even then, every what looks like an aggressive sell-off, we had one of these yesterday as well, was on with Carlos. We had what looked like an aggressive sell-off in gold and immediately bought back up. Uh, and it's continuing to do that. Very hard market to short. Can you find short opportunities? Absolutely. You can find a short anywhere. Is it going to be a good trade? And, how much stress are you having trading gold to the short side? But with managed risk, take the opportunities, right? There were some pretty good shorts last night. Uh, here was a J trade on the day, not at the lows, but highest volume of the day on the 3-minute. We had 4,200 contracts trade. As soon as we closed above it, we didn't trade below the low of that candle. So it's a pretty nice opportunity there in what was a range bound market overall. How to take
Yeah.
the setups when they present themselves, though.
Yeah.
Coach Paul making
Boy.
dinner plans. Chat.
Yeah. Yes, I am. I'm traveling.
There you go. Traveling, got to experience the local cuisine. Got to.
Exactly. When you do, you got it. I love food.
Same.
So get a little off track.
Yeah, it's all right.
But
Dakota's here
we'll
laughing.
check in.
All we've done pretty much since he's been. We were at lunch and I was like, all right, where are we going for dinner? So Yard Boy Luis has a question.
Mhm.
Topstep coaches have classes, and what do the classes consist of? I'm assuming it's per topic. So each coach does a class, and I'll give you the rundown real quick. Me and Coach Paul do At the Buzzer on YouTube every day, 4:15 Eastern Time, 3:15 Central. We go for an hour. We do talk about the same things as far as technicals go every day. Of course, markets are going to change, so that changes the information that we give. But we look at the markets the same way every day because consistency in your process for anybody is important. So if you watch At the Buzzer, we'll call out some things in the chat to the chat, and they'll answer it for us because they've been watching for so long and understand that hey, this is a way to look at the market. Nothing we say is a suggestion to take a trade, but it's a way to kind of interpret the market's information. Coach Ray and Coach Hoop, sorry, start with Coach Hoop because we'll go in order, does a class at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. in Discord. He goes over fundamentals and a bunch of different markets. He goes over the agricultural markets. I have Coach Robert, who does a class at 5:15 Eastern Time on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He'll go over technicals. Coach Robert is a very technical trader. He uses a lot of automation in his trading. So if you're interested in that, Coach Robert's doing classes. And we have Coach Ray and Coach Vince, 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central Time in Discord. Both use volume profile. So they'll talk about the markets that they trade with volume profile. Coach Vince is usually more focused on the equities. Coach Ray more so focused on crude oil and some equities. And then we got Coach Dakota, of course, with slow markets every day, every Sunday through Thursday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern Time. And Coach Dakota, you've seen him on Topstep TV. Self-explanatory, right? Then we have Aaron with the London Open. So there are coaches all the time. Aaron with the London Open, going over gold. Aaron only trades gold during the London hours. He will look at other markets. We can't even say that he only trades gold now because he keeps saying that he cheated on the NASDAQ, cheated on gold with the NASDAQ, and started trading NASDAQ. Can't keep anyone away from the NASDAQ, it feels like. And then we have D with the Euro trade at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Trades a bunch of outside markets, and she will be the first to tell you that if you ask her about the NASDAQ, she'll probably ignore your question. She hates it, but she brings up a bunch of different other markets that traders can look at if they're struggling with trading the NASDAQ. And then, of course, we have Anne Marie with the market kickoff every Sunday, prepping us for the week. So, ton of different classes. I'm hoping I'm not missing anything because it's so much, but we are pretty close to having content 24/7, either on YouTube or in Discord. So, it's all free content. All it costs you is your time and your attention, but a ton of different content. Watch what resonates with you and then go ask those coaches questions. If you're in Discord with Coach Ray and Coach Vince, there's 150 people, 200 people in those classes. So if you have direct questions, you can ask them, they'll get it answered. So, yeah, ton of courses.
Oh, I learned. I've been around a long time. I learn from, you get different perspectives. Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I'm really, I just added last month again, the volume profile.
Okay.
So I'll look at that. And if you're here and you're learning, take advantage of it. Doesn't mean you have to follow everything exactly, but it gives you, a good rounded perspective. And it might be something, like I said, working with Coach Jay and how he uses volume has helped me immensely. So go on and take advantage of it. It's a great opportunity. I can't say enough. Does anybody else do it like we do?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
There you go.
And go ahead and say no. There is a ton of education out there, and whether you get it from Topstep TV, which we would love you to, enjoy what we're doing here, that thumbs up button. But wherever you get it from, right? If you need help and you learn from someone, ultimately what happens at the end of the day, we need to learn how to repeatedly make decisions in the market and click the button when our setups present themselves. So whoever you can learn that from, the one thing I love about Topstep TV and just what we have with all of our coaches is that there is no shortage of market knowledge, right? We didn't even talk about everything you could get from Hogue, JD, all of our coaches, the VIP coaches, during the daytime show, right? Everything I just mentioned was after the daytime show is already over. So yeah, ton of content, ton of content. Let's get back to these charts for a little bit here. Anything else you had on gold? Go ahead, Coach Paul.
Well, no, but I wanted to. Someone asked, do coaches send direct messages and friend requests on Discord? No, we don't. Do not answer that. If you've gotten 10 friend requests from coaches, we don't send them. So
Do not
thank you for asking.
don't send your Discord to anyone who says they're Coach J. Your Bitcoin. Don't send any of your Bitcoin to anyone that says they're Coach J. That's not me. That is not me. All right. Let's take anything else you got on gold, Coach Paul. You want to move over to crude oil?
Let's go to crude. I'm actually just feel. Why do I feel friendly to this?
Because it's at the low of the range.
There you go. Thank you. I was wondering, but and it's just tight
Yep.
For those who like range trading. This is the market of your dreams. So look at we have tested this low of about 60 and a half area, like, then we're holding, bouncing, nothing dramatic, but I'm going back to look at the moving averages. They're all within like 20 cents of each other.
The daily 220 and 50 moving average are within 25 ticks of each other. 35 ticks of each other.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing I don't want to see it when I'm in the hospital. It's just
Might be on the way out.
I might be on the way out. I'll still try and buy the Crude.
Right.
No, yeah, the nice little rally at the end of the day. Why? It couldn't break those lows. It's so tight. You can almost see that this is going to be a short covering rally. So let's look at the half hour. We're playing with the white line. Look at that. We had that big spike. Was that from what today's Wednesday all day, isn't it?
Yeah. It is Tuesday, but that was right off the open in crude oil. The house account took a short here, and JD said it right away. I don't know if I like this trade, guys. We saw some aggressive selling below 61, but then the question is that selling sustainable? Different than what we saw in the S&Ps, that volume stopped to the downside. And, take whichever candle you want here. But once we start to trade above some of these high volume candles and we close above it, and we showed in the S&P why that candle close is important, because we can trade price above it, but if it doesn't close, there's not a lot of conviction there. But look at this at the low, we close above that. We're not trading these prices anymore for now. Right near that $61 level. This one here, 61.36. Once we close above that, we never trade below the low of that candle. That's a sign, Coach Paul. I mean, I feel like if this was an inverted chart, we'd be looking at that as a potential blow off top, maybe.
It could be possibly. But we can't read too much on light volume and small ranges. We know this, it's balanced. So in a balanced market, the edges offer the opportunity.
Right.
And that was the edge. I mean, I'm not talking about a trading edge. I'm talking the edge of the range. So we continue to play with the edges of the range. I just feel that I can't. This has got a chance to go turn around and roll right back up to the top of the range. So what is that, 67?
Yeah.
See the moving averages closed above the 200. We have that spike. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'll see. But crude oil, yeah, higher time frame, range to range. A tough trade most times. I feel like it's been on the back burner for a lot of people. I'm wondering if Coach Paul, I'm gonna ask you. We talk about our big four: crude, S&P, NASDAQ, gold. If we had to find a sub for crude oil, what would it be?
maybe natural gas.
Interesting. Okay. Energy market, keeping in the energies, right? So we
Yeah,
covered
yeah,
that
let's.
sector. And I mean, natural gas, 4.8% move today, high to low.
Ooh, that looks wow. The natural. Hmm. Can we go back to that daily?
Yeah, there you go.
What's happening right there? Look at that 20-day moving average,
Getting ready to cross above the 50.
and it's flattened out. So I mean, there is your correct, your base. So we frame that base out, and now it's crossing. I, I'm literally going to be buying some strangles.
Go. That is not
Uh,
financial advice. That's just Coach Paul looking at a chart.
it's looking at a chart. What does that mean? I think it's got a good chance of breaking out to the upside. At least go back up to the 200 moving average. Why? But markets move from balance to imbalance back to balance. One other interesting, we put a trend line. And someone asked me about that. Let's use that. Oh, that from trend line central. Now that's about a 45 degrees. So yeah, I'm going to replace that. I'm going to be paying much more attention to natural gas. And tis the season.
So I was going to ask about that, right? And I saw JD mention it as well in the chat. Heading into winter, if you look at last winter, right around October, we hit the low November 4th,
It's familiar.
and we turned around and rallied from that low, 107%. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is natural gas.
So
By the way, you don't have to. Don't trade the big one.
right, MNG is available for everyone.
Yeah, and this market gets, they call it, some people, the widow maker. Thank you, Coach. But it's funny. This gets so crazy that the options market shut down when it gets rolling. Literally, when it's rolling. So if you don't get in early, it just gets really violent. But right here, as a trend, the downside is over. The opportunity, and remember, it's an opportunity. This isn't advice. The opportunity is to the upside. I mean, take a picture of that. That's right out of the dictionary.
Interesting stuff here for sure in natural gas, and maybe the replacement for crude oil if crude oil wants to stay range bound. All right. We got to go over the yen, Coach Paul. I got to ask you anything on your scouting report for the week, but let's take a look at the yen on the daily. We looked at this yesterday because I think we did ask you yesterday what was on your scouting report. You said the yen. The yen is down another 1% today. What were you seeing that you liked, and what are you maybe seeing that you continue to like?
We can't find buyers. Not being a smartass. It literally can't find buying, and it's a free fall. We gapped lower. We're under the 200-day moving average. We gapped a Sunday gap from the selection. Why? I don't know. This is the result. All right. Do you really need to know why?
Nope.
I don't.
More sellers than buyers.
More stuff. And look at the volume from that gap of selling. That's why when I say they can't find buying, it's just like this is a big position that's trying to exit. And I'm going to go back to the 5,000, and I turned to Coach Jay. I'll sell you 5,000. He says, I'll buy 5. Where am I going to find someone to take the other side? That's going to it's going to create direction, and we're
Right.
getting it. So well, let's look at we had the same kind of action we had the night before. Frame out the first half an hour, and we attach. That's what I mean by we did try and look at that. We couldn't make a new high. It was like there was a robot. As soon as we got back towards the top of that, by the way, it was to the tick.
Yeah.
It was 1.5, and it just glanced there, but held that opening range. And if we, like we said, if we removed the candles and just looked at the VWAP, this is what I mean. No, there's no buying. I wouldn't be surprised if we do the same thing tonight.
Interesting.
Um,
Very heavy in the yen here. Are we at lows of the year?
no, that was the next.
Not yet. So
uh,
the candle that made the low of the year, we'd probably test it tomorrow. Interesting.
and yeah, look at the what's the highest volume of the year?
Right in the middle of the all
So
the
that
tariff
was
stuff.
yeah. No, and now, but the momentum. This is a falling knife, or in this case, maybe a samurai sword.
See what you did there.
Did you like that? Yes. So I don't. What would change this? Some big buy volume and an engulfing candle. Well, that could happen. We saw that about 2 months ago, but we didn't have. Look at where that gap came. See, we had that. It's almost like intervention buying. That huge candle off. Yeah. So then that buying has failed. Now who's going to step up now?
We saw that all 2024, right? And it would be that intervention candle. We'd have a big spike of volume to the upside, and it just would not sustain. And this held for a while. This held for, was this 60 days? But we are starting to break out of that range with some volume. So very interesting here on the yen, Coach Paul.
You know, it'd be interesting to look at the weekly.
Doesn't look like something I would buy, not right away. But
So
it
yeah.
always looks scariest at the bottom.
Well, also look at the volume. If this was some value, you'd see some they have some volume, buy volume.
Yeah.
But we're not finding it. So I still like this sell side for me. That's what I'm looking to do.
Stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. Japanese yen 6J is the ticker. Coach Paul's scouting report for tonight going into tomorrow. And again, anything we talk about is for educational purposes only. Not anything else we got, Coach Paul?
What else? Let's take a look. Well, there was all this talk of the rescue of the farmer. Let's see.
Okay. What ag
Well, that
product
was
are we
cattle.
what ag product are we going to? Cattle? We're going to the
Well, I don't. Those cattle farmers don't need to be. They're sitting fat
They're doing
if
all
they
right.
have the cattle. The fatted calf used to be a great bar restaurant by the Board of Trade. The fatted calf. Anybody out there remembers that? You're old. Anyway, that chart does not look friendly to me. I don't know if there
The
was an
soybean chart.
announcement. Yeah, soybeans. It's a market that is wow. I just wanted to break. Now we'll talk about direction, something like natural gas. We're not seeing any of that here.
No.
I would say if, and I would, it's just to me not much opportunity. These hiccups are random, but we are basing.
Right.
So we had 1, 2, 3 times down, like the old song. I won't sing it. Or just under $10. So there's some value here, but talk about a dead bounce.
Yep.
So
Looking pretty consolidated.
um,
This is it's kind of crazy to see this consolidation for so long. We talk about crude oil. Soybeans have been the same.
what would government? Oh, I don't think it would change the coin unless they took out production. Paid. There used to be, okay, story time.
Here we go. Story time with Coach Paul.
You're already yawning.
Oh no, no. That was not intentional. That was not
It's
intentional.
nap time. No, and Coach Drew he's old enough to remember this. Payment in kind, or the PIC program, PIK. Government came in the 80s and paid farmers not to grow,
Why would they do that?
to cut down on the oversupply. Now, this isn't a case of oversupply. This is a case of tariff wars that
What we're seeing
the
right now.
Chinese responded, said, we're going to find someone else. And they did. So it's directly affecting U.S. farmers. If you're a Brazilian farmer, you're fat and happy. But
Interesting.
now, I don't know how they would do it. I'm a free market, so I'm not going to go off. But the story is there was a payment in kind. The government can come in and pay, maybe just flat out pay them. Keep growing it and we'll pay the difference. I don't know. I don't like the idea. Maybe they don't grow soybeans. But these are row crops and these don't change.
Right.
It's a problem. Throwing money at it usually isn't the answer. But this market it's horrible right now. Now I'll give you another one. This is a continuation chart. It's mixing up the old crop and the new crop, and it's not really a good chart to use trading grains. But the bottom line is it's $10. And it's dropped in the last 4 years from an average of like 15 or 16, while the rest of the world is in inflation. So there's a problem here. And we'll see. Now, I would just stay away from it. I just wanted to bring that up, see if there was opportunity.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. Yeah, pretty consolidated chart here. Pretty consolidated. All right, we got 5 minutes to go, Coach Paul. Anything else you want to talk about? I think I'm all set there. Coach Hoop, just real quick, we go Bitcoin broke.
Yeah.
We saw Bitcoin make that high and pull back from here. Looks very similar to the equities, right? Coach Paul, you said this to me about a year and a half ago. Bitcoin trades like it's an equity market, and that's what that looks like. Right? We could compare that to the NASDAQ or anything else. We make that all-time high and we pull back. Is it over? Is the run over? I don't want to be the first person to say it, but a nice sell day in Bitcoin today. But looks very similar to the equity markets. Same thing with micro Ethereum. Very similar
Well,
charts there.
look at the half hour on the Bitcoin. See if you can find the white line.
It's literally the equity markets.
Yep.
It's literally the exact same chart, right? We saw this in all 4 equities. It's kind of crazy to see. But Bitcoin looks exactly like that NASDAQ chart right now.
Yeah, it would be interesting to look at. Thanks, JJ. Let's look at the 4 hour. We don't really look at that every now and again, but I like the 4 hour. I don't look at it a lot, but wow. Now, hmm, mm, I I don't see the bullishness of it, but it is a uptrending market. This is a dip. Um, we would have to go over that 4 hour high to get a J trade.
Yep.
But we'll see. It really got, it really got hit. Is it the government unloading some of their Bitcoin to pay the bills? I don't know. But I'll start the rumor anyway.
Right.
Now, I don't know. There was pretty good selling today in there.
Nice sell
And they,
after making that all-time high
yeah.
yesterday. Let's see if it holds up, or was that just profit taking? Or somebody who's not selling. Michael Saylor.
He's not selling.
He's holding on forever. He is holding on forever. I'm curious what his strategy is. Do you ever take profits, or do you just, I got all the Bitcoin? Like, it's all right. That it's not worth anything to anyone anymore. That's probably not the case, right? Wherever we collectively see value is where we see prices continue to go higher. And with all what's going on, maybe need a new store of value. Could that be Bitcoin? Anything else you got before we go, Coach Paul? A couple minutes here. We're going to give some time. I think Coach Robert is doing his class right now in Discord, and then Coach Hoop is starting in a few minutes. Anything else you got?
Same as usual. Plan your trade and trade your plan. We will talk again tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. As far as numbers go, tomorrow we got a bunch of Fed speakers. Fed speakers have been speaking all week, and they're continuing to do so, especially with the lack of economic data that we're getting with the government shutdown. The Fed speakers are probably front and center right now. So we'll have some Fed speakers tomorrow. We got crude oil inventories, a 10-year note auction. FOMC minutes tomorrow. Curious, I guess we still get those. The Fed's independent. So FOMC minutes tomorrow. Will those be market moving? Will they not? Like Coach Paul says all the time, trade your plan your trade your plan, manage risk. See you all tomorrow. Remember, Coach Hoop is doing a class at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We got Coach Rain, Coach Vince at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central time. Coach Dakota for slow markets at 7:30. Aaron with the London trade, 1:30 Central time. D with the Euro trade at a.m. Talk to everyone tomorrow. Trade well, man, and we will see you all then. Good stuff, Coach.
Bye.
Bye.